going early.
For some reason, cupboard's always in a bit of trouble. Oh, there's a standing pen, look.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the one you haven't seen for a while. Yeah, I hear that's the home fleet now, isn't it?
I think we've actually hired that in for the for the season.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we had a standard class 2 last year. We was having trouble getting up the bank to Tenton and pulling it through.
Oh, I see.
Had to have a banker on the back.
Where's the other terrier that go
I'm not sure. There is one running the other way.
We'll wait and see what's happening, what other local running today, isn't it?
Sorry?
We're just waiting what's happening in the other one.
Yeah, the other one's the
Yeah. Do. Yeah. Watch that Joe lives on his Zoom now because you know why? His mum's down in a care home. It's a shame though, really, isn't it? And Joe's in charge of paying for the house and everything now. Bit of a nuisance, isn't it? Eh? Oh well.
Would you like just a little bit of history of the line?
Yeah.
The line known as the Rother Valley Railway, as it was, and opened in 1900 from Robertsbridge to the station we just left, which we now call Rolvenden, but in fact was called Tenterden. And this was the Rother Valley Railway.
I see.
And the person who actually was the driving force behind the railway was Colonel Holman F. Stephen. He was quite a talented light railway engineer. And the Light Railways Act 1896, which was intended by Parliament to open up the countryside to allow railways to go to those areas where mainline railways wouldn't actually go because the returns would not be that great. The 1896 Light Railways Act allowed promoters to dispense with things like gates on level crossings and signals if there was only one train running, and fencing, because by law the railways have to be fenced off. Very expensive. So Colonel Holman Frederick Stevens, he was quite influential. He was the son of a couple of people who were actually part of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, the well-known artists organisation. His father was George Stevens, a well-known art critic at the time. So they were quite influential people, and they're all actually buried in the Bronston Cemetery, including Holman Stevens himself.
What's the speed limit on the sign today is?
What's the
speed limit?
Speed limit on the railway here is 25 miles an hour.
Oh, right. What? Sorry, is it 25 miles an hour?
25, yeah.
I mean 20 miles an hour.
No, 25.
Oh, is it? Fair enough. Just wondered, that's all.
So the railway opened in 1900 to great fanfare. The people of Tenterden didn't actually really want this railway. They'd been promised for decades a branch line by the South Eastern Railway, which, because there's a main line concern, and they kept promising a branch line of some sort, just to keep the London, Brighton, South Coast Railway at bay, because they're all great rivals. But the promises were never forthcoming, and Colonel Stevens saw the opportunities here to build a railway, and he got parliamentary approval, and then had to actually get the money. But the people of Tenterden didn't want to actually put their hands in their pockets, and actually bought very few shares in the new, in the proposed railway. And it was the landowners and business people of Nordium, especially on Bodiam, who actually forked out and were the ones who actually originally promoted, wanted a railway. So that was 1900. By 1903, the railway had extended to the station that you started from, Tenterden Town. So they couldn't have two Tenterden's, so they changed Tenterden, the original Tenterden, to Rolvenden. And so now the line is 10.5 miles long. There were plans to extend the railway to Headcall, where it met the South Eastern Railway, which in fact occurred by 1905. But that part of the railway was a complete drain on the railway from the very beginning. It didn't make any money. Any money that was made was on this original Rother Valley section. And the sorts of goods that would be brought along the railway would be sort of general goods, such as cattle feed, bagged manure, drapery, groceries, furniture, that sort of thing. That's what actually made the money, as well as coal and minerals. There was very little actually considering the area we're in, the railway didn't actually carry much livestock.
I see.
There were plans to put a branch out from Northian to Rye, and there were plans to put another branch over to Cranbrook, but money was tight. In fact, these never materialised. And on building the original railway, the original contractors who built the railway for the General Stevens, they went bankrupt, and so did the company that actually loaned the money. They also went bankrupt. So, but the railway itself actually made in the early days, quite a nice little profit. There was one thing about the Colonel's railways. He actually ran his empire of 9 railways from his office at 22 Salford Terrace in Tunbridge. And he ran his little empire of light railways from there. But one thing he never provided was toilets. There were no toilets on the trains, just like this train. So welcome back to the 1900s. And at his stations, what he tended to do was, at the end of the corrugated iron station building, which you'll see as we go down the line, they're corrugated iron, he usually put a little sort of screened off area, and that was a gents' urinal. No facilities for ladies. You might wonder why that is. I mean, he was a single man, a Victorian gentleman. Maybe he just didn't want to think about, ladies having the need to go to the toilet, I guess. Now, there were no flushing facilities in these urinals, and the only sort of time they got flushed, what he did, he had a drain pipe put from the gutter down to the urinal, so when it rained, they got washed. When it didn't rain, they didn't get washed. And I understand some of the stations could get quite smelly in the long hot summer.
Especially like now.
Especially
like now.
Yes.
Oh,
Tenterden, which is the only brick building on the line, actually was unique, and it did actually had a brick urinal, which is still there. These are the original stations. So when you go back to Tenterden, have a look. If you stood on the platform, the far left of the station building is the gents' urinal. No longer used, but you might want to just poke your head in. That one has got a little cistern in it. It was sort of updated at some stage. Colonel Stevens managed to keep his lines totally independent of all the mainline railways, including the 1923 grouping of the railways, where after the First World War the government wanted to get the railways to amalgamate into larger railways. So you had the Great Western, the London Midland, the London North Eastern, and the Southern Railway. But Colonel Stevens was quite influential, and he lobbied his important friends, managed to keep all his railways totally independent. He died in 1931, and his second in command, William Moss,